renew. This morning, now what in the world is this crazy thing doing? Now, there we go, finally. That made me stress over my electronic Bible here. Don't stress, renew. What is stress? This was one of the definitions which I thought fit pretty good. Stress may be defined as that gap between the demands placed upon us and our ability to meet those demands. That kind of makes sense, because when stress is what causes worry, and you get out there and you get to thinking about things that, how am I going to do it? How am I going to get through this? It's always the how part, so it does make sense that it is what's going to, that gap filler is what's in there. Now this morning, I'm going to take a little difference. I always try to come up with different things, but can somebody tell me something that causes stress?
Your job.
Your job, man. Jobs can cause stress because of what is asked of you by the boss, what you have to do, or the situations that you're put in. Jobs can cause lots of stress, or lack thereof. A job also at the same time can also cause stress. Anybody else got one? What cause? Yes, ma'am. Families. Woo. Families, how dare you say that truthfulness? Families can cause stress. Yes, it can. Yes, families can cause stress. And why? Generally, it's because somebody is not where they're in the will of God, so to speak, especially if you've got a Christian family, and everybody else may be, and light and dark don't have any kind of, getting along together, so to speak. Good and bad, whatever you want to say, water and oil, it just don't mix. They can cause stress under the same situation. So I'm talking about, I've been trying all week long to tell Sophia, do you even realize what you're trying to even get into? What about insurance? What about lots of times kids don't think about all the important stuff in life. All they think of, hey, this will be great. It's an adventure. Yeah, well, it ain't. Never land. Stuff's got to be done, but stress. Families can cause stress. The things that you get put through. The things that you are going through. Somebody doing something crazy, or somebody just being whatever. As the old TV guy said, somebody just being a meathead. Somebody not paying attention. Somebody doing their own thing instead of doing whatever. What else can cause stress?
Finance.
What was that, Tony?
Finance.
Finances. Oh my goodness, money is the biggie. Money is a huge stress factor. You'll see it sometimes. These folks that just won the lottery or whatever, Everybody's like, look at all the stress and pressure they're going to be under. I'll take that stress. I'll take that pressure, But no, maybe too much might give you stress, but not having enough certainly will. Because every week, every month, those bill collectors are going to send you that thing in the mail. And if you don't answer it, send them money back. You don't call them back, they're going to say, hey, where's my money? And if you ain't got it, then you know what you're going to do. Stress builds up. Anybody else?
Atlanta traffic.
Atlanta traffic. Traffic. If you've ever had to drive in traffic, you'll find out that 98% of the other people out there can't. And I ain't even talking it's got to be snowing or raining. They just can't. They get out there and it's like, what in the world, You wonder how come they put horns on cars, because, it's like you want to hit the horn so hard, But yeah, traffic. When you get caught where you're stuck in a spot to where you feel your time is being wasted and your life is in danger. That's a big thing. Health issues. Man, health issues can cause a ton of stress. And the bad part is, they say that health issues, when you get stress from those, all you're doing is making it worse. Because health issues causes stress. Stress then turns around and causes health issues. It affects your heart. If you're one that gets migraines, it affects your headaches. It affects your blood pressure. It affects everything from memory right on down. Of course, they say us guys especially, stress helps hold weight, and it does cause obesity, especially around the middle, which is the worst spot to have it, because that causes other problems. You see, guys, it ain't that I overeat, it's just I'm stressed. That's all it is. A big belly of stress. I figured it out. So if I ever lose it, then we'll figure out, okay, does the stress quit? Stress is it's a terrible thing, man. Especially, like I say, if you are the one, doctor gives you bad news, you're going to stress. It's hard to say, oh, let's keep a good smile and a happy thing going when the doctor told you, you know, well, the good news, you know, or the good news is, yeah, you've got 2 weeks to live. Well, doc, how's that the good news? Well, the bad news is I found out a week ago, you know. How is stress comes, especially when it's got something to do. Other people might not understand your stress. They might look back and say, why does that even bother you? You know? Well, put these shoes on, grab my billfold, look at my checking account, and you'll find out why it bothers me. You know? We all walk in different, we all have different things that cause stress. We all got different ways that stress hits us and affects us. But it's just, we all also though have one way to combat and to overcome the stress. And that's through Christ Jesus. Amen. We can go back even in the Old Testament. Stress causes, let's see, stress also causes, as we talked about with the weakness and physical disabilities, it also causes you not to be able to think straight, and it causes you to get in a spot to where, you know, you just, all you can think about is you're worrying about your issues. Now when you get to this point in your life, and boy, the devil loves for you to have stress, you take your focus off of God and you put it on your problem. And once you get to that point, you become fair game to him. You become an easy prey to him. Have y'all ever watched these old, out on the Serengeti or out in the desert and the plains, you know, the lions and the hyenas and all? They don't go attack these big old healthy animals. What do they attack? The small, weak ones, or the ones that's left behind, the ones that's lagging, that's not paying, the one that's out there, you know, looking around like a, you know, like an airhead. They attack those, and those are the ones that become the prey. In Deuteronomy, the folks, you know, God is talking with the people, and the folks have been moving out. You know, they're making their way to the promised land. In Deuteronomy 25, verse 17, it says, remember what Amalek did unto thee by the way. God was telling people. When you were come forth out of Egypt, how he met thee by the way, and smote the hindmost of thee, even all that were feeble behind thee, and when thou wast faint and weary, and he feared not God. Therefore I shall be, when the Lord thy God hath given thee rest from all thy enemies round about, in the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee for an inheritance to possess it, that thou shalt blot out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven, and thou shalt not forget it. Thou shalt not forget it. God was telling people, you remember what Amalek did? Every time when y'all tried to come through and y'all come around the border, and it says, I was taking you to the promised land. I was taking you from the slavery and the bondage that you had, and I was leading you to the home that I had given for you, that I had made and prepared for you. I was trying to get you there, but Amalek, the old sly devil, come around from behind and started attacking. He was attacking the ones that were weak. He was attacking the ones that were feeble. He was attacking the ones that was young, attacking the ones that wasn't paying attention and staying up. And he said he attacked and killed a lot of your, a lot of your friends, a lot of your family. He destroyed them because they was in a spot to where they couldn't keep up and where they couldn't walk with everyone else, and they was affected by things in their life, and he was able to attack them and tear them down. Folks, if we're not careful as Christians, we will allow ourselves to get in the same spot as the children of Israel as they were passing through. If we're not careful, if we're not staying in our word and studying, if at night the worry gets upon us, or if in the day the worry gets upon us, what's it going to do? The stress is going to cause us to, at our jobs, not be able to work appropriately, not put our mind at the right place, which could cause us to get injured, or someone else, or it could cause the boss to start looking at us and wonder what's wrong with us. What are they doing wrong? It can affect our moods. It can affect everything that we do because we are no longer living the nice, peaceful life that we're supposed to. And folks, when you're going through stress, when you're going through things, let me tell you, people around you eventually, when the stress gets big enough on you, you can think you're hiding it all you want, but you're not. People start to realize it, and hopefully the people will be praying for you, and the people will be lifting you up, but we've got to take our stress and take our problems back to God and let God take care of them. You can have the brothers and sisters all you want to pray for you, and that is what you should do. Don't think that, oh, this is my problem, or oh, I don't want anybody to know. Folks, for goodness sakes, do what the Word says and call upon your brothers and sisters to pray. The Bible says where 2 or 3 more will agree on one thing, then that's where God is, and God's going to see and heal. Don't be afraid and try to hide it to yourself. I'm not saying God won't answer your prayers, but His Word says if you come together on a situation, He's going to be there and see it through. Don't let stress start tearing you down to where you can't even, not only in this life, but in your spiritual life, stay to where you're supposed to be, to where you're, excuse me, to where you stay up with the group and you stay on top, and you don't become one that falls back. You don't become one that gets weak. You don't become one that's looking around wondering because you have forgotten what God has called you to do and what God has set for your life, and you're allowing the stress and the pressures to get you and bring you down. You know, we're not the president. We're not worried about the press right now, you know. But the pressures and the stress. Man, this life is full of them. It drags people down, good people down every single day, strong people down every single day. But we have a way to overcome the stress that the devil tries to put upon us if we will just trust in God. Listen to what Isaiah said. Hast thou not known? Hast thou not heard that the everlasting God, the Lord, the creator of the ends of the earth, fainteth not, neither is he weary, and there is no searching of his understanding? He giveth power to the faint, and to them that have no might, he increaseth their strength. Even the youth shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fall. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. Amen. You know what that tells me? When things get bad, when things get weary, when things start to bring and drag you down, don't look over here and for the world to come up with your solution, and don't try to carry it yourself, but take it to God so that He can help you through the situation. Don't try to handle it on yourself, because the Bible even tells us, Isaiah even tells us, he says, even the youth will get tired, they're going to faint. The young, the old, the mature, we're all going to go through problems in our life. Sometimes that we think we can handle it and we can't. We're all going to try to handle it on our own so we can make it through it. But we don't need to try that. Why in the world would you want to try to make it, how shall we say, on your own out there, starting broke, if your daddy was or mama was a multi-millionaire? Why would you go out there and say, no, I don't care that you got the answer to my problems. I'm going to go out here and make it on my head. There's nothing wrong with trying to make it on your own, but make it on your own under the umbrella and the curtain of living in a good place, living in a good house, having the money to fall back on. There is nothing wrong. What if you had somebody, some doctor or scientist that you live with that could assure you that you don't have to worry about being sick, but yet you want to go out into a world with a zombie apocalypse going on and just take your chances. Now, wouldn't that be crazy? Why not staying under the shelter and the umbrella of the doctor or the scientist that's got what you need? Amen. Why in the world do we go out and try to find our own answers in the world when we can take it back to the one that tells us, oh, I would bankrupt the banks of heaven if it took it to supply you. I would give you what you need. I would open up the windows and pour you out a blessing that you can't hold. Why would we not call upon the great physician to be our doctor, to heal us and to lift us up? Why do we try to do it on our own? And why not go back to the one who created us in His image? Why not go back to the one that loves us so much and that we cast our cares upon Him as He tells us to do? And as we cast those cares upon Him, He takes them and He lifts us up and makes us better. Why would we not go back to the one that tells us, bring it to me and I will handle your issues?
Amen.
Folks, if you want to live a more stress-free life, take it everything and give it back to God. When it comes to you, oh God, what do I do with this? Here you go. Help me siphon this one. Help me go through this one. There was a lot of promises that God just told all of us. A lot of promises. He says, let's go through some others. Let's start out with the eagles. Talks about, let me get back to the verse here. Let's see. But they shall, the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with the wings of eagles. Have y'all ever watched eagles and the way that they do? There used to be a camera, still is I'm sure, up in Rome, up at Berry College. They have this eagle's nest that they always watch. And these eagles, every year, they have their babies and the eggs will hatch, and then they'll have to, they have to go on through life. But these eagles are pretty cool animals. If you ever watch, those other animal shows when they live up in the mountains and they're out on their own, eagles are very, very strong. They can pick up something like 2 and 3 times their size. I've seen videos where they'll swoop down and pick up a mountain goat and then go flying off with it. Of course, they will, dispense of it and drop it. But that's what they're going to eat is their prey. They are strong enough to carry weights that we couldn't believe they could carry. They build their nest, this big old huge nest, and they prepare. They help their young. They come to a time, though, where there's a spot where their beak starts to grow. And it grows kind of funny. They actually have to take the time and go through the pain to beat and to file off their beak so that they can be able to eat and be able to provide for themselves again. But once they do this, it is like their whole life is changed and the renewal process comes upon them. And they once more get that young spirit and they start to grow. But when they're babies, even though this is powerful when they're adults, when their babies are born and it gets ready, you know what that eagle will do? An eagle will sit there. Like I say, you ever seen their nest? They're always way up high. The eagle will sit there to tell their babies, it's time for you to go. They'll rustle them in the nest. They'll hover above their nest. They'll flap their wings. They'll try their best to do everything they can do to make those babies get out. Now here's this baby eagle sitting there thinking, what are you doing, Mom? What are you trying to do? Don't push me out. Don't you see what's going to happen? If I go out, I'm going to go falling like crazy. That's a lot of stress, knowing that you might fall to your death if you have to get out on your own. But that eagle mom knows if she can just get them, she knows the time that they're strong enough. She knows the time that they're ready. And she will get them and finally get them to where they do jump, because if they never ever jumped, if they never flew out, they would never know that they could fly. But that mom is always right there, flying just in case. Just in case that baby can't make it through. Folks talk about the stress. God tells us we're gonna fly like the eagles. Have y'all ever watched an eagle catch a jet stream when it comes through? They'll be going and all of a sudden they'll just lift up. And they're flying high. They can fly above the storm. They can get up and fly through the rough times. All it does is it just makes them fly faster and it makes them stronger. We're going to go through life sometimes. And we're going to be the eagle. And God's going to be the one that's sitting there saying, hey, come on, get up, get going. He says, you're going to have to go through a storm. First, you're going to have to learn how to jump. You're going to have to learn how to fly for yourself. Stress. But always know that God's there waiting for you. And he says sometimes you're going to go through the storms, but you'll never see a storm take out an eagle because they're strong enough and they're built, their body style, their body frame, their wingspan, to be able to handle the winds that blow. We're going to go through those storms. But God's got enough faith in us to make it. God's got enough trust in each one of us to be able to wing our way through. So don't worry and don't get stressed out. Just trust God as we do go through it. The ability to run in the rush of life. What does that scripture say right there? It says, they shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. Y'all remember that song that come out? You might not listen to it. It come out years ago, and it was, I can see the name of the group, and I can't even think of it. Rascal Flatts. You know, it says, I miss just the old times, the slow life, sitting on the porch, drinking just a cherry Coke, you know. I remember just the laid-back, easy times, watching Andy Griffith. You know, you never saw Andy or none of them get in a big hurry, did you? I mean, even when they was getting in the car to whoever, go get the one burglar or whatever it was that somebody thought was going around town, it was always a nice little slow ride. There was never pressure. It was just a laid-back life. But God knows today our lives ain't like that. Man, it is fast-paced. It's 100 miles an hour. As Top Gun says, Mach 5 with your hair on fire. You know what I'm saying? This world is flying fast. But God says, I'll be there with you. Don't think that you're going to outrun me. Don't think that you're going to be able to, I'm not going to be able to keep up with you. I created this world. I can handle the pressures that you're going to go through.
Right.
Our lives change, man. They change on the day to day. They change quickly. And then to go through the small stuff. You know, God cares about the small stuff just like He does the big stuff in your life. We used to do the children's church. And those little boys and girls would come, hey, pray for my bird. Pray for my fish. Pray for my cat. Pray for my dog. There ever been a prayer request up in adult church? Of course there has been. Why? Little things. The slow life. The small things. What you're running through life or what you're walking. God knows what you're going through. And above and beyond that, God cares what you're going through. He tells us, I'm going to give you the strength. The promise of strength. Is that not what He said in verse 31? Let me go back and find it again. They shall not run as beware, they shall walk and not faint, and they shall renew their strength. Renewing their strength. How do we renew our strength? We got to get back to where the strength comes from. We got to go back to the basics. We got to get back to the spot to where we build up from that. My screen changed here. In Matthew, where did it go? Matthew 6:33, it says, but seek ye first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and all these other things shall be added unto you. Take therefore no thought for the morrow shall take thought of the things of itself. Sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof. We've got a promise of strength if we will just hang on to God. If we will just seek His kingdom and His righteousness first, everything else, all the other needs that we have in our life are going to be added unto us. Listen to what they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. Sorry, let me read this real quick. The Hebrew word for renew means to change or exchange. To change it out or exchange it out. Alright, so when we go back to our lives with Christ, let's think about that. When we give our heart and our lives to Christ, what does the Word tells us? It says we take away the old man and we become a new creature. So we change out and exchange out what we had. Therefore, we can overcome. We can be that overcomer. We can be what God has got for us to face this situation. Galatians says this, I am crucified with Christ. Nevertheless, I live, yet not I, but Christ liveth within me. And the life which now I live in the flesh, I live by the faith of the Son of God, who loved me and gave Himself for me. In other words, I'm only alive, I'm only living because God has given me true life. I can only be what I can be because I am who I am through God. I can only have strength, I can only have blessings because God is the one that has given them to me. If it wasn't for God, I wouldn't be anything. Just like we talked about earlier, Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ which strengthens me. But without Christ, folks, I'm going to have a hard time making it through my worries and my stress. I'm going to have a hard time making it through this life. But if I got God and I change out my old for the new, the stress isn't supposed to bother me. The stress, every time when Satan comes up and tries to put things on you, you're supposed to be able to ride the wings and get to the higher ground. You're supposed to be able to walk through that fast life. You're supposed to be able to stroll through it in a nice, slow manner. You're supposed to be able to make it through because you've got Christ in your life. You've got on the whole armor. It's taking the darts. And you're living your life for Christ in the way that He would have you to live it. You're supposed to be able to live this life stress-free if we keep our eyes focused upon God and not upon the world itself. Ephesians tells us, be strong in the Lord and in the power of His might. To be strong in the Lord and the power of His might, if I don't think that God can handle the situations that I'm going to go through, then how in the world am I supposed to believe that His ultimate sacrifice that He gave is going to take me to heaven? How am I supposed to believe that salvation is through that death if I can't even believe He can handle me on this earth? Which He tells us is nothing but a temporary thing. Our life is like a vapor that passes up. If we don't believe that God can handle our lives here, how are we supposed to believe that He can handle it when we get to heaven? Folks, we've got to get in a mindset where we know that God can and will handle everything. There's a cool thing about some of the older ships that, the old wood ships that that used to be out there so popular, years and years and years ago. They would show the nooks, they would show the dents, they would show the cracks to where they hit stuff under the water. They would show where they would be beat in, they would show where the things that fell and the chains and the ropes and the masts, the things that drove them, the things that kept them above the water. They would show the damage, but they still floated, folks. They didn't have to worry about, you could trust those old ships. We are the same way. We might have damage upon us, but folks, if we've got God at the helm, we're going to make it through. Don't stress over the damage that's being done, because God says, I'll take care of the damage. I'll keep you floating as long as you keep the water on the outside. I'll keep the water under you, and I'll keep you going. I'll keep you going the way you're supposed to do. Just don't stress and just believe.
Amen.
But the Bible says we've got to wait upon Him. To wait is something that is so hard to do, especially when you're under pressure and you are under stress. Just wait a minute. Just wait right there. Who wants to wait in the world? Somebody come up with a microwave oven so we didn't have to wait. Like I said before, now that ain't fast enough. We want it and we want it now. But God says you've got to wait. The psalmist says, truly my soul waiteth upon God, for from Him cometh my salvation. He only is my rock and my salvation. He is my defense. I shall not be greatly moved. Folks, you've got to wait upon Him. Don't try to step out and do it your own way. Don't try to step over here and do it what you think might be happening. But wait for God's instructions. Wait for His guiding hands. Wait and let Him tell you which way, how fast, and then act upon Him. But wait. Why are you trying to do it without Him anyways? Amen. We got to listen to Him. Proverb tells us this. Blessed is the man that heareth me, and watcheth daily at my gates, waiting at the post of my doors. We've got to listen. You want God to renew your strength? Then listen to what He tells you to renew that strength. And then do it accordingly. How are you going to listen to God? You listen to Him by reading this Word. You listen to Him by when you pray. You don't take all the time up on you that you're going to spend in prayer and just talk Him, and let your heart, your mind, and your ears hear what He's got for you. wait upon Him, slow down, stop, get in His will, go to Him in prayer, listen to Him, and then Psalm tells us to look on Him. These wait all upon Thee, that Thou mayest give them their meat in the due season. Seek the Lord in His strength. Seek His face evermore. Remember His marvelous works, that He has done, His wonders and the judgments of His mouth. Look to Him. If you really want for God to be able to take away the stress and what's going on in your life, then you've got to look to Him and believe that He can give you the strength to overcome. You've got to, what is that? Stop, look, and listen. Isn't that what you're supposed to do to train track, I think it is, or a school bus crossing, or whatever, whichever one it is? You need to stop and wait for God. You need to look around, look for His blessings, look for His time, look for what He's got for you, look for His face, seek Him, and then listen to what He has for you. Then you got to live for Him. Come on to the instruments. Philippians tells us this: according to my earnest expectations and my hope, that in nothing I shall be ashamed, but that with all boldness, as always, so now also Christ shall be magnified in my body, whether it be by life or by death. For me to live is Christ, and to die is gain. Doesn't matter what God wants me to do. Doesn't matter what God's got called for. I'm going to follow His will. Because I'm not mine anymore. I'm His. As long as I keep myself sitting where I'm supposed to be with Him, as long as I'm waiting and walking with Him, as long as I let Him handle situations. Hey, I'm not telling you the stress ain't going to be there. I'm not telling you things ain't going to bother you. Man, trust me, when this idea, that Sophia had is now this big grown-up of a, fixing to be 19, when this big idea comes up, hey, we're thinking about doing this. Boy, I'm thinking, okay, this will be a passing fancy. But unlike my fancy wanted it ain't passing. And I'm saying, I'm the only one passing. Man, I'm passing up sleep at night. I'm passing up food, and that ain't like me, I'm passing. So wait a minute. Why? Because I dadgum know it's not a good idea. In my mind, I'm a dad. Of course, it's never a good idea. But to think that you want to leave this and go do this and we see the dangers. We see the common sense and the logical stuff, God's the same way. He looks at us and He sees us doing what He thinks. There they go again. Big dummies, Look at them. I've given them this, this, and this. I've supplied all the needs. And what do? They want to go out and do it on their own, Here they go. What are they doing, Luckily, God don't stress, But He tells us, I can give you the power to overcome. I can give you the strength to overcome that stress. You just live like you're supposed to. You just keep prayer going. I'll take care of the other. Families, more families can cause stress, but hey, God can handle families. God gave them to us. They're all part of us. So let's pray and believe that God is going to handle the families. The jobs, man, God can handle stress on jobs. He gave us those jobs. He can either give us a new one, or He can, He can make this one even better. Our health. He's our Creator. He made these bodies. Can He handle it? Yeah. But not if we're going to sit there and constantly worry about stuff or constantly do crazy things for our health. We've got to be going back to His Word and live like we should. He's got our health under control. Everything that we think we could stress over in life, God said, bring it to me, bring all your cares to me, and I'll take care of it. Are we stressing, thinking that He ain't big enough to be able to handle them? Here we go again, put your hand out, slap it. How could we think that God can't handle our problems? Let us not stress. He says, think back. Think back. Look at everything I brought you through before and where you are now. That's because I love you. That's what God is telling us. I love you. Don't worry about it. Don't stress over it. He says, but come back and renew your strength. get some good sleep, get some good food, get some good rest, and then go out there and face this world like I've told you and like I've prepared you to do. We serve God by flying through the storms like that eagle. We go ahead and weather it out, we fly through it, we get above it and we fly above it. But we don't fly from it. We serve God by walking daily in this fast life and by when we kick it back. We serve God daily in everything that we do. We can learn to serve God in such a manner, our stress levels will start dropping and our praise level will go up. We might have a few scars, we might have a few dents, we might be beaten